Hey guys, Bullhorn Betty here, giving you breaking daily updates related to the Sebastian Rogers case. This is going to blow your mind, guys. I've been personally covering the case of Sebastian Rogers, a 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared from Hendersonville, Tennessee. His mother, Katie Proudfoot, and stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, came out and told their stories in this interview about what transpired related to the disappearance of their 15-year-old son. Katie, Sebastian's mother, describes the day before he disappeared, Sunday, February 25th. They went to BJ's, he got a colossal popcorn, he was just a very happy, jovial young man, and they came home, put some snacks away, and then they went to a local bowling alley, and next to the bowling alley was a steakhouse where they ate. After they ate, they loaded up and went home. He took out the garbage, and the rest is history. He goes to bed at 9 p.m. Mom goes to bed at midnight. She awakes at 6 a.m. to wake Sebastian up as she normally does, and he's gone. Christopher Proudfoot states that he was not even in the area at the time that Sebastian left the home, that he was many miles away as he was working in Memphis and staying in his camper in Mississippi. A lot of people watching this case unfold became very, very skeptical of both Katie and Christopher Proudfoot's story about what happened leading up to Sebastian's disappearance. Many people noticed the deep abrasion scratches in some areas looking like bite marks on Christopher Proudfoot's arms some 8 days after Sebastian disappeared. Seth Rogers, which is Sebastian's biological father, decided to start doing some ground searches and raised money on a GoFundMe page to aid those efforts. Christopher Proudfoot threatened Sebastian's father in a lawsuit related to the GoFundMe page and also the fact that Seth appeared to make the family, the other side of the family, look bad. Many people went out searching for Sebastian Rogers, and the one thing that was missing out of all the efforts volunteers put forth was Christopher and Katie Proudfoot. And when people asked them why they weren't out searching for their very son that went missing from their home, they told people that it was because law enforcement told them to stay home. However, that very evening, they were seen at a barbecue joint outside of the home enjoying a dinner. Meanwhile, never once searching for their very son that they say they care about and want to come home. Media was in an uproar, demanding answers from both Katie and Christopher Proudfoot why they're not helping with any searches for their son. And what was their response? They got in their camper, packed it up, and took off. Sebastian's mom and stepfather took off to a campground in Mississippi where they returned home for a short while and then returned back to this campground. Right now, it appears that the camper is still at this mobile home park or RV park with Chris's truck, but we have confirmed Chris is not staying there and has installed a camera on the camper. There are so many people curious as to why there's a camera on this camper, but not on their home before Sebastian Rogers walked out that door. The sheriff was very cordial at the beginning of this search for Sebastian when he truly believed both Katie and Chris Proudfoot were deemed innocent and had no culpability in the disappearance of their son. If you look at the newest interview Nick Barris has with this very sheriff, you see a much different demeanor. Does this case anger me? You darn right. Does it make me want to almost lose my mind? You darn tootin'. Chris and Katie have a lot of explaining to do because what I just laid out for you is only a minor, small amount of the case against them.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Why, good morning, my beautiful people of YouTube and X. It's nice to see you this beautiful Thursday morning coming from the office. Yay! Strutting our stuff. It's getting close to the weekend, folks. Getting close to the weekend. We're kind of... All right, I'll turn it up just a little bit more. It's nice to see you, QRPB up in the house. Melissa, it's nice to see you. Justice for Sebastian, our beautiful Jen, it's nice to see you. Jazzy is in the house. The Real Me Too. Rhonda, Manic, Mama T, Hindsight 2020. It is nice to see you all, you beautiful ladies. I shouldn't assume everybody's a lady up in here. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Gigi, Rhonda, ooh, our beautiful Drew up in the house. It's nice to see you. Oh, that reminds me, if you guys are over on the Bullhorn Petty Crime Stories, that is for our members who do not want to be in all the craziness of our main chat. So if you are a member and you don't like all the rowdiness, you might want to head over to the Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. I set that up every day for the people that don't want to be part of the group, but just want to listen and enjoy themselves with other members. And that's on the Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories side. So it's nice to see you all here. Jacqueline, it's nice to see you. Lulu's Nana, good morning. Joyce, it is nice to see you. Belva, Chickie's up in the house. Our beautiful Roxy's up in the house. Rapper, hey, hey, hey. It's nice to see you today. Sonia, GE girl. Ronnie, it's nice to see you. It's Crystal, good morning all. Who else do we have? Our beautiful Sonia up in the house. If you guys need any custom shirts, I know Mother's Day is coming up this weekend, so it's probably too late to get a custom Mother's Day shirt. So I hope you guys consider that. But there's always Father's Day. Is Father's Day coming up or did it already happen? Oh, good Lord. I probably need to shut up. But you need it for something, all right? July 4th is coming, okay? Okay, Cupcake. Erica, it's nice to see you. Bubby, good morning, good morning, good morning. Who else do we have? I think I said hi to everybody so far. So it's nice to see you. Yanni Zet. Oh, I'm going to butcher your name. I'm so sorry. Yanni Zet? I don't know. You're going to have to break it down for me. Mendez. I'll call you Mendez. I'm sorry. I don't want to butcher your name. I have a weird name too. So it's like everybody butchers my name. So I know how important it is to get it right. Salty ma'am, it's nice to see you up in the house. How salty are you this Thursday? It's almost Friday. You can't be salty. There's got to be some sweet left in you. I know there is. I feel it. Dazed, and if you need it, we got sweetness in the house, right? So if you're a little too salty, we got a little bit of sweetness up in here. So we'll just have some sweet and salt. Better than piss and vinegar. Sorry, I don't like to sing. I don't like to cuss. Bo Jingles is up in the house. Mama Smurf, good morning. Good morning, Cheryl. It's nice to see you. Casual Christy is up in the house. It's nice to see you, my love. So I think I've got Cheryl, good morning. And I'm going to go through here. If I missed anybody, Jamie, it's nice to see you. Sarah Sweetness, good morning, good morning. So if we have anybody that I missed, I'm so sorry. Good morning, just a blanket good morning. So I know why you guys are all here. We are all thanking it, right? We have this This beautiful boy right here. His name's Sebastian Rogers. He's a 15-year-old autistic boy that disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee on February 26th between midnight and 6 a.m. Mom and dad don't know what happened, right? Mom and stepdad. I don't know what you want to call Chris dad. Good. We've corroborated enough to say that this man treated Sebastian he treated the dogs better than he treated the boy, okay? Let's be honest. Now, was it like that all the time? I doubt it was. I'm sure he wasn't hostile to Sebastian all the time. But you know what? I keep remembering. You know how I told you when I was growing up, when it was good, it was really good, but when it was bad, it was really bad. I kind of feel like that's the way it was. You know, when it was good, it was good, but when it was bad, it was bad. So that's just my personal opinion on what I'm seeing from my viewpoint. Okay, I've maintained from the beginning that a lot of the lack of evidence, in my opinion, is the evidence in this case, because a 15-year-old autistic boy doesn't know how to clean up that well. Okay, especially when you got parents on camera talking about how he doesn't like cleaning, right? If he doesn't clean his room, all of his stuff goes into a garbage bag and get thrown out, tossed out like trash, right? So we have all these opinions, you know, we have all these opinions of, you know, what could have happened, whether it was Katie, whether it was Chris. I can tell you that people are really starting to turn their attention. I watch these polls. You know, everybody throws polls out on a lot of these different social media platforms, whether it be Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. I don't know if they do it on TikTok, but definitely here on YouTube. And, you know, people are constantly asking, you know, at the very beginning of this, I remember seeing those polls and everybody asked, you know, who was responsible, Chris or Katie, right? And everybody on those polls seemed to always indicate Chris, you know, or Chris and Katie. But very limited, you know, solely kind of, you know, boxed Katie out by herself. Good morning, Brandy. It's nice to see you, love. Christina, it's nice to see you as well. And I'm looking at the polls now, and what a change. Aw, Bojangles has been sick. Well, we're so sorry about that. We've had a lot of illness going around. I hope you're doing better. Well, it's nice to see you here. So I guess if you're here, you must be doing a little bit better. Aw. Linda, it's nice to see you. Good morning, love. Is Ashley in the house? I didn't even see Ashley. Good morning, Ashley. It's nice to see you. Aw. It shouldn't be distorted. Can't listen to distorted. All right. Well, Cheryl, you have a great day and God bless you. When you get into a good place, you might want to check it might be your signal too, because my signal back here, which never looks good, is looking great today. So I know we're doing pretty well, at least for the time being. Oh gosh, good heavens. Oh no, we got a few people that aren't doing well today. Well, you know what, guys? I hope let's throw some prayer hands for everybody that's you know, not kind of feeling well today. Either feeling, you know, not feeling well, you know, under the weather, or, you know, just not feeling well spiritually, or, you know, inside. So, Steffers, it's nice to see you as well. Yeah, everybody, you know, if you guys are going through something, if there's any way I can help, let me know. Aw, thank you, Manic Mama. Aw, you guys are beautiful. Thank you, guys. That's what I'm talking about. Right there. Right there. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so, you know, we have this boy that disappeared, and the story that we were led to believe at the beginning was basically, you know, and everybody, of course, at the beginning believed these parents' story. Let's, you know, I mean, we're a little skeptical, right? But we also know we're skeptical. Let's be honest. We're the true crime genre. If you are a true... You own it, okay? I own the fact that I'm a true crime junkie, okay? I own the fact that I am ultra skeptical of literally everything, okay? I own that. And because I own that, I know that creeps in my head. So I'm constantly on the alert, especially when new cases come out. It's like, don't read too much into this. Don't read too much into this. You know, you're constantly having to remember, you got to push that stuff back. You know, you got to take each case as their own and on their own merit, right? So it's hard because you have all this stuff from all these past cases. That's why when we start hearing these cases, we're like, oh, this aspect is like this case, and this aspect is like this case. It's because of all of our experiences of following these cases, you know, from all these different states and communities. So we have a lot of different experiences, and so sometimes we have to put those experiences aside and listen. So I'm always wondering, am I being too critical? Am I being true crimey, you know, when I'm analyzing this? So naturally, we kind of, I kind of felt maybe I was overanalyzing, because after the first interview we got to see, and after the first interview we were kind of like, well, we didn't know quite what to think of it, but I think all of us felt like a little uneasy. Like they weren't, like something was just off. We couldn't, for me, I couldn't pinpoint why I felt off with their very first interview. I just couldn't. But I knew things didn't make sense, and it came from, and that very first one, we didn't see anything, but we did hear he went to bed in that weird laugh. And that's kind of turned everything on its head as well, and we'll get to that on a different topic. But it seems like, for all intents and purposes, that the mom and dad lost the son, or the son walked out of the house, and they don't know what happened. So naturally, I would anticipate parents spending more than 10 minutes searching for their son, right? If you believe that somebody should spend more than 10 minutes searching for their son in a 2-month period, can you put a 1 in the chat? If you are, and be honest, and if you feel that 10 minutes was a sufficient enough time to search for a boy with autism, put a 2 in the chat. Because here's what I've learned so far. We've only been able to corroborate that Katie spent only 10 minutes searching for her son. Lindsay. I don't know whether to laugh or not, but thank you for being honest, Lindsay. Sorry. I didn't know if you were joking or not. And maybe you did that to see if I would chuckle. I don't know. But if you truly are too, then thank you for being honest, Lindsay. I appreciate that. But here's what we've learned. Katie, since this, in 2 months, and Chris, we've never heard searched one time for Sebastian. They spent more time, his family, the Bauer Sox, has spent more time threatening people and following searchers than they have actually being out there and searching. That has been absolutely corroborated. But what we've learned is that Katie, when she allegedly woke up and Sebastian was gone, she never told anybody that she left the house until we got to the Chronicles of Olivia interview. And I don't really remember what interview that was. I know that they had some interviews on smaller channels in between the Green Shirt interview and the Hand interview and Chronicles of Olivia interview. I think they were on, I can't remember the names of the channels, but they had been on maybe 1 or 2 before Chronicles of Olivia. But I saw Chronicles of Olivia's interview, and that's when I first noticed that they had introduced this drive where she left the house and drove down the road and to the school and back. Well, we found out that she was gone, and this has been corroborated, that she was gone for approximately 10 minutes. So why am I telling you guys this? You already know this. It's because that's the only searches that we have been able to corroborate that that Chris and Katie have done. And it wasn't even Chris, it was just Katie. So I thought that was important because, usually parents of missing children search for their missing children. That's just how I kind of look at it. I consider leaving an area when you have a child missing, I consider that a sign of guilt. I absolutely believe it's a sign of guilt. I don't believe that there is any good reason for a mother or a father to ever leave a home immediately after a child has disappeared from their home. So these people are professing, right? These lovely people right here. They are professing to the public that they want any and all help because this woman's son right here is missing. She had an amazing day with her son the day before. They went home. She put him to bed like she always does. Like she always does. And the next morning she wakes up and he's gone. She has no idea where he went, but she wants the entire world to be passing around flyers and help her find her son. So anybody and everybody that is willing to help her find her son, she is welcoming of that help. That is what these two people right here are telling us. They're coming to us and telling us to help them. to help. So guess what? The people on social media bring this case to social media. People on the other end see these cases. They have their heart in these cases. And then they take their abilities, their crafts, and try to utilize them to help this family find this boy. And you know what this family does? Refuses the help. Refuses the help. Kicks the people out. Threatens them. Their family. This is not the first time. This is now corroborated. We have had multiple people that have been out there searching state that they have the Proudfoot's family following them and threatening them. So how many people have we heard that statement from? All different people from all walks of life, from TikTok to YouTube, from normal Joes volunteering their time to search, and we've heard it from everyone. So this idea that these people here are having their family coming out there harassing people and threatening people and following people, anybody that's saying that, you are misinforming your audience. Because we have enough corroborated people that have nothing to do with one another saying the same thing. That's corroboration. So I know for a fact that the Proudfoots have their family following searchers and harassing them. Yet they're the ones coming to the public saying that's happening to them. I'm going to start out with the second interview call, the second handler's call first, because I think, one, it's the most emotional call, but because she had the actual face-to-face interaction with Christopher Proudfoot. When Christopher Proudfoot demanded her and her husband leave the area, and she describes not even being on their property, but that their dog picked up a scent in the opposite direction from law enforcement. And that is when Chris wanted them to leave. That is problematic for me. Could it have been just a coincidence? Of course. Of course. All these things are just minor coincidences, right? They're just minor coincidences. Unfortunately, they all go together. Right? They all go together. Good morning, Justin, for all. It's nice to see you, my love. It's nice to see you, my love. Yeah, I heard that too. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with I think this is it. Let me make sure it's it. Yeah, I think this is it. So let's go ahead and pull this up. Actually, I probably just have, I think I already have it on. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
Was told to go away.
Okay, yeah, this is it.
I had full
to Flowwood Pond and see. Oh, you don't have any scent of Sebastian's, do you?
This is.
What if you got a scent? Could you get something from?
Here's where it calls in.
Could you get something from Seth?
from.
Hey, you're live on air with Jay.
Hi, Jay. How are you?
I'm good. Is this Steph?
Okay, so this is Steph. She is, let me just go through some of the stuff. I want to tell you guys, before we get started on these calls, I think it's important to give you guys a little bit of context. So, both of these handlers are certified. Their dogs are certified. Both sets, so Julia and Stephanie and her husband were cleared by TBI to do this. So TBI, and this is another thing I want to say, for us out here, do we believe that TBI in Sumner County are looking at Chris and Katie? I truly believe they are, because these are behaviors that I think, behaviors and traits that law enforcement would be looking for, right? They are looking for, to try to find out what happened to this boy, and they are looking at who is really assisting in the case and who really isn't, who's acting like they are but aren't, and who are acting like they are and are. And so I think at this point it's very clear and cut and dry. I think we've heard from enough, FBI agencies, not people that are active FBI, obviously that would be inappropriate, but retired FBI, we have a lot of retired law enforcement out here on social media now giving their expertise. And I'm sorry, I listened to them. These are not normal behaviors for parents, and these are definitely things and key, red flags that law enforcement is looking at. So there was a few takeaways for me when I heard these call-ins on JS for Justice, and it is the fact that the TBI is aware of how Chris and Katie are acting. They did have direct contact with both of these handlers, and both of these handlers did discuss with TBI their experience and their conversation with Christopher Proudfoot. So this idea that TBI doesn't know this stuff this is probably why they're not coming out and getting having their back at all. Because, let's face it, J.D. Huff and Brandy's case did. When things were getting intense, they came out and said, look, this investigation is not on them. We have, this investigation is in a different, going down a different avenue. And still people didn't listen, but at least we had that, right? You can't force people to take the information. So what got me on this whole conversation with this and finding and locating these dog handler videos was the fact that I was doing my research this morning, and one of the things that I noticed we do not have is a good timeline for Sebastian. What happened in a chronological order. And so I've been searching, and finally last night, or within the last few hours, the last day, I'll say, News Nation put out an article with a timeline, and I got to be honest with you, I don't know what editor allowed this to go out, but there was a lot of mistakes in the article, to say the least, including but not limited to them stating in the article that both Katie and Christopher were the last ones to see Sebastian Rogers before he went to bed, which we clearly know Christopher was not even in the home. So these were glaring, like when I was reading it, I'm like, what? Like, this is from News Nation. So if I have any News Nation family or friends out there, you might want to correct the article just a little bit. There was some mistakes in there, I can tell you that. So we're going to go over to Stephanie. She was certified. She was cleared by TBI to do the searches. So she talks about cleared by TBI to do the searches, what they refer to is that they sent all their credentialing in. Their credentialing for themselves, the credentialing for their dogs, to show that that their dogs aren't just somebody's lap dog that they're trying to pass off as a search dog, right? There are people that think their dogs have great sniffers, and I absolutely 100% believe your dog does have a great sniffer. But there's a difference between a properly trained dog and a dog with a good sniffer. So they're using the dogs, and she was very emotional because I think she's upset because Stephanie kind of fell in love with this boy, and she's like, can you imagine, like, you're a parent and you're missing a child, you're willing to just rip up the earth to look for your child. And so these people literally board a private plane with 4 dogs and make their way from California to Tennessee on their own dime. Thousands of dollars. Thousands. So let's hear her story. And I'll be stopping. Oh, before we get Mama Smurf, is it true that the Proudfoots have someone in the police that's in the family? This is what I've heard. And I believe it has been corroborated, but it wasn't corroborated by me. And it is the fact that, yes, I believe there's a stepsister of Christopher's that works for Sumner County. If I have, so do your own research on that. But yes, I believe that it's been corroborated that she's at least in law enforcement, and that it is a sister or stepsister of Chris. That's the best that I can tell you for fact. Which branch she's in, I'm unsure, but yeah, I think it's, and I'm confident that that has been corroborated at this point.
Hey,
Yes,
Steph.
I'm sorry, I'm driving.
Oh,
I
you're
was trying
okay.
to get
Be
a hold of
careful.
you.
Yeah, be careful.
In between all these, I know, thank you, in between all these other callers, but I just wanted to let you know that I did go down there. I am from Southern California,
Okay.
and I was, as soon as Chris came out and knew who I was told to go away.
Now, I don't know about you. Call me crazy. But is that the behavior that you want? Now, this lady, she's not there for Seth. She's not there for Chris and Katie. She's not there for her channel. She's not there because people send her. She's not there for a money grab. She's not there for e-bagging. She's not there for any other reason than to find this boy right here, because she was told these people over here don't know what happened to their son and they want to bring their son home. And as soon as she gets to the property, she's or not to the property, as soon as she runs into Chris and Katie, she's told to leave. She's told to leave. Let's keep listening.
I had 4 bloodhounds with me, and you know, from their outward appearance, you know, they're tracking their ability, you know, their wrinkled skin, everything around them makes them, you know, be like a good, lovable dog. We use them also as therapy dogs, because I used to be a trauma ER nurse, so they were used as that as well. So then my husband went into law enforcement, and we ended up finding a way to help people use our dogs in a whole different, you know, in a whole different capacity.
Yeah.
And this particular handler goes into explaining how bloodhounds work and how they collect the scent into their nostril. But the reason why I stopped it is just to go on a little, just re-navigate the chat just a little bit, and it's for Picky. Did anyone hear about the body found in the retention pond in Mississippi? Something? Yes, that is correct. There was something that, there were remains that were found. I'm a little unclear, you know, because we've been hearing it was a lake, then we hear it's a retention pond, then we hear it's a pond. Why were the kids fishing there if nobody was allowed back there? And how did the kids get back there? And maybe if they learn how the children got back there, maybe they can learn how maybe somebody else could have gotten back there, and maybe, you know, work backwards. But I don't, you know, obviously with the sock, that's definitely a eyebrow raiser, because we know that according to the reports, Sebastian would have been without shoes, and all of his shoes were accounted for, according to his mom and stepfather. So I don't know if this will be anything related to Sebastian. I looked at the map where all of this was taking place, and it seemed really, it seemed a little further than I think would be probable, but you never know. You never know in a case like this. What we do know is we haven't been able to find Sebastian to date. And in this wide open area, crime happens all the time to a lot of people in a lot of areas. And I have to think that, because we are focusing on Sebastian, but there's still other things, other atrocities going on there to other, around us with other people. So I have to think that this is another crime. Either way, I'm glad that we're bringing it up because, it could be Sebastian, but most likely probably not. And it still doesn't matter because somebody's family member is there. They took somebody out of that pond. And that's really sad. So it's, we'll wait and see. But it sounds like we're just coming off of a cold spell. And, water preserves, believe it or not, especially cold water. And the way that they were discussing this, it's to me, in all fairness, it sounds like this has been there for a little while. Probably longer than Sebastian's been gone, but I could be wrong. We don't really have a whole lot of information, so we'll keep our eyes and ears. But we did hear it, and it's I can tell you I'm monitoring it. They don't know if it's male, female. They have no information at this point. It's that whoever it is going to the medical examiners, and they'll be doing all of that stuff there. So we'll keep an eye on it. And one way or another, whether it's Sebastian or not, we'll definitely bring those results because I'm sure we'll be looking for somebody associated with that. They said they were going through some of the missing persons in the area. It seemed like they may have known. I don't, just by the way he said something that just kind of resonated with me, and it kind of made me feel, oops, let me put this back in. It kind of made me feel that they had an idea who it was for some reason. I don't know why. They didn't say it or anything like that. It was just something that the officer said in the way they said it or whoever was talking, and it just made me, I don't know, it just made me feel a little something. Wist, if Katie did not want Sebastian, she could have just told, well, yeah. And she basically he was going there. So Sebastian was not going to be a problem. That's why that's what made me think of Chris first, because this would have came back whether or not. I'll have this phone, but I need to probably turn these off until we're done with the interview. This is Betty. Hello, who's this and where are you calling from? Okay, well, I can't put you on my screen right now without doxing you, so nobody can hear our conversation. I said I can't put you on my screen. Nobody can hear our conversation because if I do, it'll show your phone number because it's not set up yet. Uh-huh. Yeah. Can you send that to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com? That other case, that other case you were just talking about. Yeah. I want to read that because that'll make me understand what you're referring to. Oh, of course not. We would that's why I can't corroborate that easily, because the Department of Children and Family Services don't provide those types of reports. They would never give. Exactly. Neither am I. But apparently, he has expressed his frustration at the fact that he's been unable to obtain anything, and he did not have any knowledge of this. Right. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, can I ask you to do me a favor? Can you call me back when we're calling in so people can hear this conversation? Because right now my audience can't even hear you because the phones aren't set up, and I think that they need to hear this. Probably in about another 30 minutes. Okay? All right, dear. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. All right. Sorry about that, guys. So hopefully he'll call back in and if he can express that. But if he can't, I'll express it. And I want you to hear it. So let me just tell you guys before I forget, because I will forget. So he was just basically asking, has anybody looked into the CPS workers? And he was referring to another case where some of the workers or something were involved, and I was unclear, but maybe that's why I asked him to call back in. But he did make a valid point about the Department of Children and Family Services that I did want you guys to hear. So hopefully he does call back in and can express it, because I don't want to play telephone, and I know I'm going to screw something up because it was an area that I wasn't, I knew a little bit about what he was asking, and I could shed some light on the information that I did have, but that was, there's probably a little bit more we can dive into. So there's that. So let's get back to what she says. I want to get past a little bit. I want to hear her story. She talks about the dogs a lot, and that's important, but I want you to hear her reaction to Chris.
Those ears are to help them smell better.
Hold on. Let me get back.
So went into law enforcement.
Let me get back. I guess
between all these other callers, but I just wanted to let you know that I did go down there. I am from Southern California. Okay. And I was, as soon as Chris came out and knew who I was told to go away. I had 4 bloodhounds with me. And, from their outward appearance, they're tracking their abilities, the wrinkled skin, everything around them makes them, be like a good, lovable dog. We use them also as therapy dogs because I used to be a trauma ER nurse. So they were used as that as well. But they are persistent and they are built for this type of work, and their body is what helps them assist this type of job that they were born to do.
All right, and then so now I want to go back to, so that was the first one. She was kicked off the property. What you didn't hear is that she flew herself over there with her husband and 4 dogs privately, and when she got there, they were tracking a scent when they ran into Chris, and Chris basically kicked them out of there, out of spending thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Not something indicative, in my opinion, of 2 parents willing to do everything. And you know what Chris's response was? It sounds like that Chris and Katie and the Bowersox sit around their kitchen table and say, how are we going to handle this now? You know why? Because just yesterday we have a statement from Terry Bowersox saying, well, where would you like them to search where law enforcement and everybody hasn't searched before? And then you hear this lady say a statement similar coming out of Christopher Proudfoot's mouth saying, where do you think your dogs are going to search that other law enforcement dogs haven't searched before? Well, clearly they were going in a different direction than those other search dogs were going. So I don't know. Obviously they were tracking something. If he really gave a shit, he should have just let them go about their business. If he's got nothing to hide, why is he acting like he's got so much to hide? This is a 15-year-old boy. Your privacy is done, dude. You got a kid missing. Produce the kid. Get your privacy back. Oh, that's right. You can't. So we have the other one, and I like the other one a little better. I don't want to put this lady's emotions, Steph's emotions, too much on my channel. This is what I will tell you. I took some notes here, and it says they went to CP. They were told to leave. They had 4 bloodhounds that are trained and vetted.
They were disappointed with CP and KP. She started crying. They took a private plane from California to Tennessee, cost them thousands and thousands of dollars. She said the money doesn't matter. They were there for the kid. But it was just really heartbreaking that they, did spend that kind of money to help and weren't able to. TBI cleared them, and her husband is LE, law enforcement. And she expressed that, he's not like, a beat cop law enforcement. He is, higher up the food chain. It sounded like what she was implying. She she stated that CP is playing games. They followed a scent in the other direction to almost a specific area, and they really want to go back and see if they can work with law enforcement to get back to that specific area. And then his family was threatening and following and trying to discourage them and others from searching. And made the final statement of they were kept from helping by Christopher Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot. Again, doesn't sound like the parents really pulling out all the stops to assist in finding Sebastian. I also wanted to bring up something else before we go to the next interview, and then we'll open up the phone lines. Is this reward fund for Sebastian was raised by community leaders in the area, and they were able to create a $3,500 reward fund for any information leading to the whereabouts of Sebastian. And since this case started and they raised the reward, at the very beginning of this case, Chris and Katie have done nothing to increase that reward. They have done nothing to promote that reward. They can spend, several $100s a month to stay in a campground. They can go and shop for motorcycles. They can go out and eat just about every meal they have out at a restaurant, but they can't seem to put a few $1,000s together to increase the reward fund to help generate new leads in their son's case. So it really doesn't sound like they really are trying very hard. If they are trying, maybe they need some instruction, or maybe that's them being in the military. Maybe they just need to be told what to do in order to understand how to be parents. I don't know, but every parent that I know that's missing a child, that's legitimately missing their child, and they have no clue where their child is raising hell and heaven and earth to find their child. And I just not seeing that from this mother, and I'm damn sure not seeing it from the stepfather. So that's really my only concern, why we're not seeing this, because at the end of the day, we need to find Sebastian, and it seems to me the two people that have the most answers are the ones that are duck bobbing, weaving, and running away. And so that is, to me, very concerning, and it should be very concerning for everybody watching, because this is not how normal parents act. You yourself, I want you to go deep inside of you. I don't care if you're a man or a woman in my chat. I want you to go deep inside to the pit of your stomach and the pit of your heart. And I want you to ask yourself realistically, if you have children, what you'd be willing to do to find your child. And if you think that these parents are doing that, then check them off your list. Remove them from your list. They don't have anything to do with it, according to that, right? But for me, I don't know. Because I maybe it's just bred in me, but I'll search. You tell me to sit down and shut up? It ain't happening. My child's out there missing. My grandchild's out there missing. I don't care. My mom's out there missing. Tell me to sit down and shut up when my mama's out there missing. Right? That's my mama. Right? She gave birth to me. This woman gave birth to this child right here, and she's hiding. She is in hiding. Katie, where are you? Do you speak anymore? Did Chris get you gone too? We haven't heard from you. We need proof of life. Is Katie still kicking? We don't even have proof of life of Katie. She's gone. MIA. I'm pretty sure she's still kicking, but I'd like proof of life. Just saying.
Hey.
Hey, how's it going, girl?
I am good. It's good to talk to you. I'm glad you were in chat tonight.
Oh, yeah. I know. I was excited. I'm going back and forth with this girl on Facebook. She probably thinks I'm, like, amped because, like,
No, I was
ever.
reading it all.
So-
I'm like, oh my gosh. I was going to ask if you wanted to come on Friday, but you're here tonight. So amazing. Thank you for calling in. So Julia,
yeah,
tell
of
us
course.
tell us about you, what you do, because not everybody knows who you are. So tell us what you do and all of that.
Now, I will tell you, this chick here sounds pretty amazing. It sounds like she was in. I'll let her tell it, but she sounds. Her and her dog sound like the people that need to be there searching for, and so did the first lady, the second lady that called in, Steph. Her and her hound dogs, but this one here, I can see why. She dotted her I's and crossed her T's, but it still was disheartening that Chris turned her down as well. But listen to her I guess, resume.
Sure. So I've been a canine handler for 15 years. I was enlisted in the Army. I was an Army canine handler overseas. I did explosives. So now I'm fugitive apprehension patrol work overseas. But since I'm a captain now, an officer, I can't handle a canine like in the military world. So I did a civilian job as a Department of Defense handler. So I'm still now an Army reservist, but I also do DOD handling and my own private security. So I have 7 dogs, but only 6 are certified canines right now. The baby Malinois, her name is Bellatrix, like from Harry Potter. She's only 8 months old, so she don't do anything but like bite now. So yeah, she's, oh my god, she's nuts. But, and then from that point on, so I don't want to go through like they're all dual purpose. Like Gator is like my one I post the most about. He's my pride and joy. He does narcotics, evidence detection, article searching, what else does he do? Fugitive apprehension, evidence recovery. He's got a bunch of stuff. And then, R is my cadaver dog. And they all go down from there. They're all dual purpose. They're all patrol in addition to something else. And the reason why we do dogs, like for dual purpose aspects, is if you have, like, for example, in Philadelphia, I literally had a search a couple weeks ago. Gator and I were going into a prison facility to do a search, and I'm not in any way comparing Chris to this guy. It's just something I've noticed when people refuse to let me search their place. We were going to search a cell, and this dude was like, I didn't sign up for this. Or the guard's like, I'm sure you didn't sign up to, like, murder people either, but that's why you're here in prison. Literally, the guard said this, and I'm just like, holy snap. But,
so you hear, I mean, this is a professional that goes into, state facilities, right? Has done this before. Used these dogs to do that. And what was her experience? Is people that have something to hide refuse. And people that have something to hide run away. All we've heard from Katie and Chris is we want help, and refuse, and run away. Meanwhile, we have a 15-year-old medically needy boy that needs medication that has been missing for over 2 months, and mom is not freaking the F out. She's not inconsolable. She's not uncontrollable. She's not shaking. She's not barely No. She's able to function and go out to eat and go motorcycle shopping and has the wherewithal to pack up campers several times to flee the area, citing threats and harassment when they're the ones that are clearly the ones going around or having their family and friends do that for them. So, again, where is Sebastian Rogers? Everybody wants us to make it about Sebastian Rogers. We're making it about Sebastian Rogers, but we can't make it about this boy until we find out what these people have done with him. And I'm pointing my finger at them because this child went into their home and never left their home. We have no evidence that this child left their home. And they can't give us sufficient information that he had because their only information that they gave us is that Sebastian knew the key code for the front door, so he had to have went out that way. He had to have. Yet we look at and hear a neighbor, several neighbors, state that they saw him that afternoon skipping out to the mailbox all happy and stuff and skipping up to the front door. And he couldn't get in the front door. So he skipped off away from the front door and into the garage and into the house. So why didn't he just punch the code into the front door and go in? So I've got questions. I've got legitimate, sufficient questions for this family. And I think we need to know why their information is inconsistent and why they are literally throwing people off that are trying to help find their boy. And yes, I believe there are people out here that is going to be able to go search places near the Proudfoot's home that was overlooked by law enforcement. Why? Because every single case I have ever gone into, we find that ourselves. So why would I think that somebody else wouldn't be able to go out there and find something? Why would Chris? And why wouldn't you want this thing searched if he was right around that house and you believe that? Why wouldn't you want it searched 1,000,000 times to be sure? Because you know he's right. He has to be right there, right? Because he left the house. He must have hurt himself or something. He must not have gotten that far. He has to be like right there. They had to have missed something. I, as a parent, would think that that would be going across my mind every second of every minute of every day. What did law enforcement miss? They didn't find my boy. But I don't know.
The state of Arizona. So I wanted to really bring Gator in there because my thought is, and again, I'm not accusing, in case people listening, I'm not accusing him of anything, but like typically, like I mentioned before, if someone's really refusing me, I'm just like, why? I wanted Gator to go in there and do a search for sure, and he's going to tell me if Sebastian's medication's there. My thought is, if his medication's there, then they're planning on coming home. But if it's not there, I can't imagine that stuff's very cheap. So, I mean, where did it go? Mm-hmm. I don't know how, I don't know how long the cycles go or whatnot. And then for Aura, obviously, she's my cadaver dog. She's pretty straightforward with what she does. So I wanted to bring both of them there. And Seth emailed all of my credentials. Like, I literally gave him my Army graduation certificate, my Canine Academy handler certificate. I gave pictures, I gave videos, I'm nationally certified by 4 different agencies.
Wow.
Like USPCA, which is Police Canine Association, and there's a bunch of acronyms. And we sent all that over to Chris. And then
did he ask for that?
We didn't hear back until.
Did he ask for those?
Yes, not me directly.
Okay.
Not me directly. He asked stuff for them. So Seth emailed that.
So Chris only wants the best of the best. Tells them, hey, I want to see all of their credentialing. Can you imagine having this type of credentialing? Like, I would be like, hell to the yeah. Bring it on. You've got all of that? That's got to be better than what was out here. I would be thinking. Right? Not that I'm saying it is. Right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm not disrespecting the other searchers out there. I just want to be clear. But man, what credentialing? He wanted the credentialing? I bet you he didn't expect her to that sounds like she came with a punch. It's like, here's this, boom, 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 boom. She's just making it rain credentials, right? I bet you Chris was a little scared. Oh shit. Right? I'm like this. That would have been amazing. Having somebody that credentialed out there searching for him and has 2 types of dogs. One that can smell pharmaceuticals. Not even just the traditional stuff, but like down to the makeups of prescriptions. That to me is amazing. She's got some pretty stinking good dogs. And she wanted to fly them in to help this family look for this boy right here. And these people told her, no. We need to make it about Sebastian. Chris and Katie keep saying we need to make it about Sebastian. These are two people that are coming in here making it 100% about Sebastian. So do they really want this to be about Sebastian? Do they? Let the searchers search. Chris? Maybe I need to change the title of this live to Let the Searchers Search. Let's bring Sebastian home. Let's bring Sebastian home. Okay, guys, let's just listen to a few more moments, and then I'm opening up the phones. We've been going for an hour, and we'll leave the phones open for about an hour.
So now you know what happened with the whole interview, and literally that's when it kind of like, I was just like, whoa. And then the day after the interview happened, just kind of emailed back acknowledging that they went to do more research, and I'm like, well, what is there? Okay, that's fine. But I texted the TBI agent, Bobby, or Agent Simmons as I call him,
Mm-hmm.
and I asked him, I'm like, hey, here's who I am, da-da-da, and he said, and I think I sent you a screenshot of this, he said, you're good on our end, you're good to go. The TBI cleared me.
So there you have it. So TBI has cleared both of these searchers, and all Chris had to do was welcome them aboard, and they could have gotten to work. We would have had 6 highly skilled, highly trained, amazing dogs out there with professional handlers that have been all over the country doing this. One lady says her dogs have found multiple people deceased in waterways, which is a difficult task for a lot of dogs. Only, very good. It's difficult. They're properly trained. So that tells me how qualified these dogs are. And Chris told them no, not pulling out all the stops. Let's see how many stops has Chris and Katie pulled out to find their son? Have they gone out to search? Have they posted flyers? Have they raised reward funds? Have they brought in the best of the best teams to search for their son? Have they gotten a PI to help with their search? So if those are the things that are accustomed to really pulling out all the stops to search for your child, what's left? And I know that we got some people that believe Seth did this or think my reporting on Chris and Katie is just opposite. Then tell me what you see in Chris and Katie where they've actually done anything to search and help find or locate the whereabouts of their child, besides sit on their ass and run away and bitch about every single other person that is out there searching. So Jojo says, no, they remove flyers. We have several people that have seen Chris, and I think they're the signs. He's pulled up signs. I heard pulled up signs, and I think people think he removed flyers, but I think he pulled signs up. And when I hear he pulled signs, those are the ones that are like in the ground. That's what I heard he pulled up, but I could be wrong. Why is LE shielding them? Why is Seth not getting the same treatment from LE? Because LE is trying to make Katie and Chris their friends. What do you think they're doing? They're professionals here. They're going to coddle the shit out of these people until they're done coddling. They're going to coddle until they have a little meat on their bone. And when they have a meat on their bone, they're going to be like one of their canines. At least that's what I hope. Because we're not getting any information from law enforcement because they don't owe the public anything. Don't you know? They're owed a paycheck from the public. They're owed a paycheck from the public, but they don't owe anything to the public. I love that. I love that. I'm not asking them to divulge any information about the integrity of this case, but they need to give the public something. Have they found this boy? What is their plan? What is the path forward? You know what? Fine. You don't want to answer any freaking questions about the case? Okay. I want a press conference on what is the path forward. What's the plan? What's the plan? Have you forgotten about the boy? Is he shoveled up under a few files? Everybody's going, oh no, it's an active. No, I don't. How do I know that? How do I know that this is an active and ongoing investigation and hasn't gone cold? Last time I heard from law enforcement was well over a month ago, and they said that they have no new leads. Nothing new to investigate. That sounds cold. To me, when I hear those things coming out of law enforcement's mouth, I hear cold case. I definitely haven't heard anything other than that out of their mouth. I haven't heard that we're anywhere closer to finding any answers than we were, 60 days ago. Could they tell us whether they got forensics done in the house? I mean, that doesn't seem like it would go to the integrity of the investigation. I mean, Chris and Katie would know if they did forensics in their house, so enlightening the rest of the public, probably. And if they haven't, why would it matter whether one way or another whether you have or haven't? Oh, because public pressure. Interesting. All right. So let's move on. Phone lines are officially open. If you guys would like to call in, express your thoughts, theories, tell me what happened. I hope that person calls back about the Department of Children and Family Services. We've got a lot to unpack with this particular case. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We are trying to keep this victim focused. We are keeping Sebastian top of mind. But I also am understanding that law enforcement has put a significant amount of resources toward this child, and this child isn't a normal missing kid because he hasn't been found. So with that being said, we've got some major problems here in Paradise. Chris and Katie have duck bobbed and weaved. That's signs of guilt to me. May not be signs of guilt to you, but it's definitely signs of guilt for me. And with Chris and Katie and the shenanigans that they have brought to this case, and yes, it is shenanigans, they have brought the attention to them. They failed to answer questions that normal parents don't have a problem answering. You know how I know this? Because I've seen many parents in the same position as them. Period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Sorry, my lips are peeling so bad. I hate sun damage. My lips have never been the same since Gabby Petito. 5 weeks out there. Very much a sign of guilt. Yes. There's no ifs, ands, or buts whether or not Chris and Katie are exhibiting signs of guilt. They've been exhibiting signs of guilt since they were found at that restaurant. They honestly thought that they were going to be able to have a missing child and just live their life normally. They honestly believed that they were just going to be able to this child got gone and their life was just going to be magically better. That's what bothered me so much. Absolutely so much when it came to Chris and Katie and seeing them learn that they're being looked at by their own community when they went to that restaurant. And then to have the audacity to wear Finding Sebastian shirts while they shop for an ever-loving motorcycle. I love motorcycles. I love my bikers. I really do. My son-in-law was killed on a motorcycle. It broke my heart. I haven't really been on a motorcycle much since. And I can guarantee you, without a shadow of a doubt, all the bikers I know would never in a million years be caught searching for a bike fix unless they needed their bike to get around, because I know there's bikers out there that is their only form of transportation. The only time you'd ever see anybody missing a child inside a motorcycle shop is getting the son of a gun fixed so they can go search. And these people are in there trying to shop for a motorcycle when they can't even look for their own son. Just think about that. They can look for a motorcycle. They can search and shop and look for a motorcycle, but they can't search, shop, or look for their son. I have a problem with that, folks. I tried calling in. Are they open? Okay, so my phones aren't open. Hold on, let me try to refresh here. Okay, so let me see. Hold on just a second. So that phones aren't ringing. Let me go. Make sure you guys can hear me. Can somebody try calling in? There we go. I hear it now. Can you guys hear it? I was wondering why the why the phones were so silent. I'm so Hey, can you hear me?
Hello?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, hold on just a second. Can my audience hear? Okay, I'm so sorry about that. Apparently I had some technical issues. So, hi, I'm Betty. Who's this and where are you calling from?
This is Linda from Oklahoma.
Okay, Linda. Well, it's nice to finally hear your voice. How are you doing today?
Getting around, Betty.
Awesome. What do you have to contribute?
Well, this investigation could go on for a while. I'm speaking from family experience. We lost my sister. She went missing in 2019. And
I'm sorry to hear that.
we didn't find it. Thank you. And it took 2 years to actually find her and her vehicle. And this case could drag on, especially if they have attorneys. Even though we know what happened to my sister and who did it, they're not able to arrest this gentleman because he hired an attorney early on. And I'm just wondering if these two have attorneys that have told them to shut up.
Well, I can tell you that from the sources I have, they, from my understanding, there was an attorney that visited him almost every day for 5 solid days, I think. Maybe it might have been longer, last week.
Yeah. Okay.
So the answer is most likely yes, but I don't know for a fact.
Yes. Probably told them, especially Chris Proudfoot, to shut up. Even though we still lost her in 2019, the flyers still go out, the search and the memorial of life for her, for my sister. So these two that have lost a child, my mother lost an older child, and she still suffers today because there's no closure, even, to find some justice. And these two people, the Proudfoots, don't seem to really care. And also, Betty, let me say, I live with a narcissist like Chris Proudfoot in a RV on the windmill farm for 3 years. And when you're living in such a small quarters that they are, after a while, somebody's going to steal somebody's peace. You know what I mean?
What do you think? What in your gut? What do you feel happened?
At first, I wanted to believe that the child was hidden because Seth was going to take him. Okay, and she is a mother, and if somebody would have came when my children were small and said they were going to take them, I would have probably hit them. So at first I thought that, but now that I believe wholeheartedly, I believe allegedly that they have attorneys now that have told them to shut up, and that's why she's quiet.
So do you think? So you think they had something to potentially do with his disappearance now?
Well, yeah. I mean, it either happened on the way back from the steakhouse. Maybe they got into an argument. The boy was wired up. I mean, he is autistic. I mean, I have a grandson that is kind of like Sebastian. He's 15. He's very smart. He was building Legos buildings at 3. You know what I mean? At 3 years old. But my daughter took him into therapy over and over and over, got him on the right medication, and he just got a letter from his high school from having a 3.5 or higher. They are smart.
Yeah.
Don't ever think that these children don't know how to go out and take care of themselves. because I know that my 15-year-old grandson knows how to take care of himself when he gets home. He has, my daughter and her husband are military, but they're not strict like these people. They just have a routine. That's just military life.
Yeah.
Now, when this guy leaves and goes away in his RV for a week or two, I didn't spend 3 hours on the phone with my ex.
I have never, I don't ever recall, I mean, even in my, I love you, my little, teenage phase, in 14, I don't ever remember being on the phone with a guy for 3 hours. My girlfriends, that's a whole different story.
And, to literally think that they want to be on the phone for 3 hours when they got to get up, 2 hours
I just don't see it. I don't see it.
It didn't happen.
Okay, let me ask anybody. Let me just ask people in the chat. Who in the chat has had your significant other stay on the phone? Now, mind you, you guys been married for 8+ years. When have you guys ever had 3 hours of stuff to talk about? I mean, if you have, be honest. Put a 2 in the chat. But one's for never in a million years. One's I've done it. Okay, you can continue. I'm gonna read the chat.
So I'm just going to leave it at this. I've lost somebody. I understand the attorney process where they tell them to shut up, and these people can go shop all day long and not say a word to anybody.
Yeah.
And that's what frustrates us, because that's, because we want an answer, Now, what do I think happened to Sebastian? I still believe he was wired up when he got home from all the stimulation for the day. They are either going to be said to go upstairs and brush their teeth and get ready for bed. Tomorrow's a school day. But if my daughter would have heard a thud, she would have, probably went upstairs to find out what happened. She wouldn't have been hollering from another room, "Hey, are you okay?"
Well, I was listening to one of the interviews, and she implied that she thought that something like she asked him. I think it was the Nancy Grace interview. She actually asked him, "Did you fall out of bed?"
Yeah, I mean, and that's another thing. Usually, when they're interrogated, the words in the first part of the sentence says a lot. She mentioned bed. She mentioned bed. Why would she feel? I mean, there's 2 stories. He was sleeping in the garage or he wasn't. Okay, so if she heard a thud, then that would mean that he was up higher than he should be, like on a bunk bed and fell. I mean, I don't get the thud.
Right.
Unless, he fell up against something. And if...
No, she specifically, I remember listening to it twice. She said, "Did you fall out of bed?" And he hollered back. And she said he hollered back, "No." And she said, "Well, whatever you're doing in there, go to bed." And I thought, well, and this was before, when I heard that first time, I forgot that he, I didn't know he had trouble sleeping. I didn't know he was on sleep aids or anything like that. And then the Real Me Too said, he most likely is if he's autistic. And so later it came out that he is on sleep aid. And then, of course, with Seth's jaw-dropping statement to that polygraph guy, it gives me, rise that obviously she's giving him some type of sleep aid, and she heard a thud, and she asked him if he fell out of his bed, but she didn't get up and check on him. That's okay.
Yeah, and that's all like Seth's feelings. And since he was in the house for 3 days, staying with them, then he would, it seems like he would have seen the mattress in the garage if that was happening. I mean, he was there for 3 days. He had to walk around and see stuff. He had to feel something, I feel. But I think when you're even in a past love, you don't want to think that they did something to y'all's child. And if it is a sleep aid and, she overdosed them on a pill or gave them one too many, and He just passed through the night is what everybody wants to believe, or he got disoriented on it, and that's where you hear the thud.
Mm-hmm.
And she didn't pay no mind to it, and he passed.
Wow.
And then, you know, she would have, instead of calling 911 and saying, oh my God, this happened, you know, she called Chris, and he's in all this dispute with his ex, and he's probably scolding her, you know, how did you let this happen? You know.
Oh,
So
I'm pretty
this is
sure
just-
it probably went something just like that, because he's got to school everybody.
I just hope that they can find him soon. Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
it gets colder every day, Betty. It will grow so cold that maybe a new story will come on and the Sebastian Army will move on.
Yeah.
You know, because there's no answers.
It's going to
You
be
know,
it's
I
going to be
pray
Summer
not.
Wells 2.0. We're going to be having both of these beautiful people's these beautiful kids' faces up on our thumbnails for the next, who knows. I'm distraught.
I get you.
Yeah.
I get you. You know, I just think it's a sad story, and I think we're going to have a sad outcome.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to say, you know, from experience, from losing somebody that's gone missing, and then you do have a culprit, but they're not talking because they have a good attorney,
Yeah.
a high-priced attorney, I guarantee you. So whoever can find out who that attorney is can probably look up that attorney's history and see what kind of cases that he's basically handled. So I will let you go to your
All
next
right.
caller.
Well, God bless you. Thanks for calling in, and
God
please
bless
call
you
back.
too.
And
Have a blessed day.
you
Okay.
too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Wow. Yeah. Now the whole medication thing kind of does, you know, it kind of gives it a whole new theory, you know, about what could have transpired, because I'm telling you, that one interview, there was something about the bed thing with me and Katie, and you guys know I've literally said something about it since the first day we watched it. I said there's something about that. And then to hear, you know, all this time later, Seth, you know, raising that as an issue, it kind of really gives that statement just a tad bit more weight for me, you know, that Katie stated, you know. And I know what you guys, if you guys haven't, let me see if I can find it. Hold on a second. The Greenfoot, Chris. I know it's here. I think it's this one right here. This one? Is it this one? Yeah, I think this is it. Okay, I've got it. I've got it up here right now. Oh, I think I just hit something. So there we go. I'm going to turn the phones off just for a second to get this part of the interview, and then I'll turn the phones back on. So just give me just a second. This one right here. We're going to hear a commercial, and then we should get into it. At least I think. Yeah.
I'm Jerry. I smoked, and I have late-stage COPD.
Tonight, the parents of a missing teen in Sumner County described to us exclusive
back.
helicopters.
Will open that door. At her son's
Okay,
question.
so I want to say a few things about this before we get started on it. Okay, because the first clip is going to be one of the other remarks that I don't like. One of the biggest things with this whole interview at the very beginning were just a few statements, okay? And one of the few statements was when they talk about Sebastian coming home. They had just told everybody basically this child has no friends. Yet they are convincing themselves, in my opinion, when I saw both of their faces and the way they were smiling and the way they were drifting off into like dreamland when they said it, it made me feel like they were trying to convince themselves that this is going to end better than it is. And that was a key issue for me in this interview. It was one of the things that I saw, and it came down to when he walks back through that door, he's going to have more friends than he ever knows what to do. It just seemed odd to me. It was off. It was odd. And it was more, it felt more self-convincing type of language than anything else. Like they were convincing or trying to convince themselves that this is going to be so much better. And I had a problem with that. And the other one is the way she talked about telling Sebastian to go to bed. So we're going to hear both of those. They're literally back to back with each other. So this is like the perfect section of the interview, in my opinion.
Safe and return home.
He's going to walk through that door, and the street will be flooded again with family and relatives all waiting to hug him, love him. And
Stepdad Chris says it's been an emotional
It's self-convincing
roller coaster that
to me.
all started Sunday night, February.
And this is where I have a problem with Katie right here.
25th.
Pretty normal. He was playing in his room. When I told him to go to bed, he did.
She took a big gulp, and she had a weird laugh. Okay? I never liked this statement from the very first time I heard it. The first thing I said is she must have problems putting him down to bed. Literally, and if you fact check the crap out of me if you want to, go to the first interview, the first time we ran this particular interview on this channel. You will hear my commentary on that. And I have maintained that even after, because this was passed off by the behavior panel as being normal behavior. And I'm like, what? They passed off that statement from Chris and Katie about how everything's going to be so much better when he walks into the door as being okay. I had a problem with it. And then now that we're all this way in, you know, has the behavior panel done any additional like that? I like the Web Sleuths interview with Chris because I think it gives us so much more natural behavior in his stuff, not just the fact that he was really aggressive there, but the fact that the Web Sleuths literally let him speak. Everybody else, all these media, to me they were guiding them a little bit, but I felt like Web Sleuths allowed him to just keep going and going and going, and people were able to observe how he handled himself. And I keep wondering if the behavior panel, but they can't see his behaviors because he didn't show his face on that. But there's been enough out here that I wish that they would look at all of it collectively and redo their behavior panel and tell us what they feel now. Because I really disagreed with their assessment of this way back. I mean, I think they did their analysis of this like a day or two after this interview was released. The full interview was released. I mean, it was very quick. And so now that we're, you know, this far into the case, I'm interested in if the behavior panel has any new insight on the behaviors of Chris and Katie. Aw, that's sweet. Aw. I wish I knew you in person. Well, it's nice to see you. So that was really all I wanted to show. So let me go ahead and pull this off and get the phones back on so you guys can call back in. All right, the phones are back on. There you go. So the phones are back on, but I did want you guys to hear that because that was the problem I have. And does that play into, you know, what we're hearing now from, you know, or what we heard from Katie, that first interview? Like, I feel like the first interviews of these parents, that's why I focus a lot on them, because I feel like they are the most... Oh, I see old Rusty up in the house. Nice to see ya. Nice to see ya. I feel like those first interviews are the most truthful interviews. And that's not just for the Proudfoots, that's anybody. Because I feel like after those first interviews, when people start analyzing, then people start filling in gaps or start trying to answer or try to explain some people's concerns about what was left, what was missing. You know, he hasn't had it 20 days before he went missing. He hadn't had it 20 days before he went missing. What hadn't he had 20 days before he went missing? Let me see if I can come up here and see what you said, Wolf. The women are upset, crying on the phone. Web Sleuth interviews another exhibit for the courts. Yeah, but they very rarely bring these things in because they're prejudicial. That's why you don't really hear. That's why I always say, you know, oh, social media is going to really take this case. Like, none of this stuff ever comes in. When have you ever heard? I mean, in case it's something that was private or something like that, I don't think that I've never heard them have, unless somebody had firsthand knowledge. I've never even seen a content creator come into some of these murder cases. There may be a case or two, but it's very few and far between, in my opinion. It's not a common practice, even though social media has been around for 20 some odd years. So has it happened? I'm sure it has. But for me, I have never seen it where it's a common practice. I see, some of this stuff, it's being thrown out because it would be too prejudicial. The probative value outweighs the prejudice, or the prejudice outweighs the probative value, rather. And so I don't see where it would come in. I mean, yeah, are they seeing it? Yeah. Just like TBI has heard from those investigators, or not the investigators, the canine search teams, they're communicating directly with TBI saying Chris has kicked us off. Chris won't let us, he's not really wanting to work with us. TBI's hearing that. TBI's hearing all of it. Is the phone still not on, or you guys just, because I don't know. Hold on here. Let me just refresh. I don't know what's going on with the phones. Let me just make sure that they're still, okay, everything should be right. All right, for those that don't know, the phone number here is 724-249-6140. Do I have? There we go. This is Betty. Who's this and where are you calling from?
Hi, Betty. This is Loomis.
Hey.
Calling from Louisiana.
Well, nice to hear from you. So what do you think's going on?
Okay. Goodness, where do I start? Let me take a breath. I don't want to take up all your time. I have a lot to say. It's nice to hear you. I've talked to you since like a year and a half. I'm curious as to, I know it doesn't sound like a broken record, but she was with him last. Come on.
Mm-hmm.
If he wasn't there. Also, the lady coming from where California did she come from?
I can't remember what part of California, but I know I remember hearing her say she flew out of the same airport that Kobe Bryant flew out of his last flight, before the,
Okay, well, with all the good credentials with the search dog, the veteran?
No, that was a different one. I don't know I don't know which airport. The first one that we brought up was the second interviewer, and her name was Steph, and she's the one that had the 4 hound dogs that flew private jet over.
Oh, okay.
The Army, the one with the hound dogs. The one that wanted to bring the 2 dogs over, she never flew over, but she was going to, but Chris told her before she flew over not to bother coming.
But see, I don't understand that part either. Whether she came or not, why would you turn someone away? You want help. You want to find this baby.
Yeah.
Why turn people away?
Exactly.
Why? I'm sorry. I'm watching my language. I'm calm. I'm shaking. I'm trying to keep up with this, and I am, and it's just I don't understand. It kind of hits home, and not all of this stuff. Some things, that I've experienced in life years ago. So I don't get the part where you're asking for help, but you're turning people away. You're looking for your kid. You're worried about the baby, but you're camping. Why are you camping?
Because they want the national spotlight to make them look like they're doing everything they can. Meanwhile, here on social media, we are absolutely providing receipts that they are absolutely doing nothing.
Nothing, exactly. That's my point. They're doing nothing. You have to be out your frazzling mind. Or, in my opinion, allegedly shady. Something ain't right. Something ain't right.
Yeah, and it's hard for us to just turn a blind eye to that, because we're trying to find a 15-year-old boy, and we know 2 people hold the key to that very discovery, and they are duck bob weaving and hiding.
Yes, ma'am, and playing on YouTube with voice changers and not letting Kate speak. Dude, shut up for a minute. If you can hear me, let that woman talk. With all due respect, let her talk.
He won't be able to do it because he does it better. Don't you know it? She's going to make a mistake. He's the only one that can do it better.
Oh yeah, and things, and I know everybody's been saying it too, and I see that as well. That narcissism in him. Anybody, that I don't really want to bring it up, but with the DV and stuff, there's certain things, and oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wish that either Sebastian comes home, in all honesty, it's been a while, or we get answers. Katie, gets brought to justice. This is just horrible and sad. He wants to be on YouTube and talk to women late at night. Was that web sleuth? Talk late at night or whenever. Where was she? Are you kidding me? You think your wife's not gonna? Do you have some respect for yourself? You're a married man. Do you not see how you're talking to that woman all over YouTube for all this attention? Go look for that baby. Go look for that Franklin baby. Or turn yourself in and Katie, start talking. You're a horrible mother. I'm sorry, I don't like talking like that to people or saying anything about a mother, but I'm a mom myself. My daughter just
She's done nothing. She's hiding.
She ain't done nothing.
This lady is hiding. You can say whatever you want to say about her on this channel. She's hiding.
I think she is hiding. Thank you. Katie, open your damn mouth. Open your mouth. You give a crap about that baby. Screw that man. Go on. There's plenty of places you can go. All the money he's making on YouTube, you leave him, I guarantee you make triple the amount if you're doing the right and you ain't guilty. Go look for your kid. Get your butt up and go look for your damn child.
And
what the hell is wrong with you?
Hey, I'm putting it on the record. I'm still willing to sew my lips shut.
I don't care. I can't keep mine shut with this. I'm trying to watch my language.
But hey, if they go out, if they get off their butt and go out, I will, at minimum, super glue my lips shut for 3 days.
And I'll apologize if I'm wrong. I will if anything comes out different.
Oh, you don't have to worry about apologizing. These parents.
Look what we all see.
Yeah.
I'm talking about them. If something comes out, look what we see.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Look what we see.
Yep.
Get up and look for that baby. Katie, don't let no man control you. Been there, done that. When you're away from it, honey, you'll be so much better. Get away from it. Your son is first, foremost, and most important. Get your ass up.
Yep. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you.
That's all I had to say.
All right, honey.
Y'all.
You have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Good gracious. I'm glad. It's not, I think people, this is what the problem's going to be moving forward. This is something that Tony Mathis is going to have to deal with, It's as unfortunate as it is something that he's going to have to deal with. Is that the Proudfoots, I know he's trying to, be the spokesperson for everyone, which I really do believe is, at this point, would probably be best for everybody involved. But Chris and Katie are stubborn, so they're going to do it themselves, which is going to be more beneficial for us collectively as social media, because they're going to screw up, even with the attorney, because Chris is smarter than his attorney, okay? Chris is smarter than everybody. So I don't see Chris going away, period. I really just don't see Christopher going away. He's going to be here. Who's underwater 90? Who are you talking about? Stop. Somebody says stop. She's getting mental health treatment. Who? Why would you in not just stop with the B? Who's getting mental health treatment, and why are you putting somebody else's personal medical information up? I don't know who. I must have been walking in on a conversation, but just be careful with other people's information. Just FYI, she needs to tell LE what she did to her son. And see, that kind of comes back to it, Eric, is because we've been talking about a lot of things, and I've been focusing mostly on Chris Proudfoot, but I'm seeing these polls come out. And, Pebbles has been here. She's one of our mods in our chat, and she's been kind of on the vein of Katie Proudfoot from the beginning. She really believes that Katie just snapped. And now, now that we're 2 months in, there's a healthy portion that is starting to believe Katie was the person responsible. And in all fairness, Katie is the one that put her square alone with this boy by herself. She is literally the last person that saw this boy alive. Nobody else. Just Katie. And that's according to everybody's statement. And that has been corroborated by the neighbors. Chris was not home that weekend. So if Chris wasn't home that weekend, and Katie truly was alone with Sebastian. Sebastian was at the front door earlier that day, so, if the scent was there, we can explain why the scent was there. It doesn't mean this boy walked out that front door. So we have all these things, and we have two parents that are running away going on national media, begging for attention, or excuse me, not attention, for resources and help. And then when the resources and help come, they once again refuse the help and resources. Meanwhile, never searching, never posting flyers, never increasing the reward fund, and only coming out for interviews in self-preservation manners. For example, every interview they've done, it's been to try to clear them of something instead of advocating for their son. So that's kind of all I have, guys. I really don't have any more right now. You know, we have this searcher, you know, every time we turn around, it seems the only people that are hindering this investigation, hindering volunteers willing to help, is the Proudfoots and the Bowersocks and anybody associated with the Bowersocks or the Proudfoots. We've heard multiple people, multiple sources, people that do not have connection with one another, basically telling us the exact same story. When they got out there to help, they were harassed and threatened and followed by the people associated with the Proudfoots. Multiple people unconnected with one another have come up with the same story. That's what we here in true crime call corroboration. So we know that to be true. I don't need law enforcement telling me whether that's true or not. There's enough people that have been out there that have came forward with the exact same story. So there we have it, folks. Take it for what you will. You know, we're still here for Sebastian. I wish this circus would stop, but it's not going to stop because two of the main people in the circus are right here. And they're refusing to retire, right? They're just starting their career. So we're not getting crap. Not from these two. These two ain't cooperating. I don't care what law enforcement says. They ain't cooperating. They've done squat. All they like is the facade of the appearance of doing the right thing, not actually doing the right thing. Did I see Turkey Man up in the house? It's nice to see you, my love. Who's underwater? I don't know. Yeah, the main clowns. The main clowns of this circus. So that's the problem. Sorry, the circus is where the clowns are. And, you know, those happen to be mom and stepdad. So if anybody's waiting for this circus to go away, it ain't going away without silver bracelets. So, you know, I don't know. But buckle up, Buttercup. I mean, this is going to be a bumpy ride, I guess, is what we can say. Because that's how I honestly feel at this point. This is going to be a bumpy ride. But we know what direction we're looking at. We know that their story doesn't make sense. We know that they've said stupid stuff that, like, you're arguing with Nancy Grace over a vehicle that's in the public that has been literally displayed and splattered across every thumbnail and social media platform, and you're going to argue with Nancy Grace, well, we can't tell you the year, make, and model of that vehicle, you know. We don't have permission to do so. And her producer is probably in her ear. It's a 2022 Transit. It's white and has, 14-inch rims for tires, 16-inch rims. Like, he's probably in her. Okay, got it. And Mr. Proudfoot, why can't you tell me that what kind of vehicle that is? Right? I mean, come on. Just stupidity. You know what it showed? It showed combativeness. You've got a child missing, and you're literally splitting hairs over something that is plastered on every social media and every news organization that was out in front of your house. It's just stupid. It's just stupid. He has an answer for everything, right? I've got an answer for a lot too. I have an answer for a lot too. All right, guys, I want you guys to, go out here, make it a great day. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, I want you guys to be safe and kind to one another. I think this world has enough ugliness in it. But this is what I also want you to do. I also want you to think for yourself. I don't want somebody making you think one way or another. If you have a question, maybe do a little bit of research. I mean, we do our best here to try to keep everybody informed, but in cases like this, you know, I like my audience to be fully informed and not to be biased. I'm a biased reporter when it comes to this case, because I feel Katie and Chris have the answers and they're refusing to give them up. So, you know, look at other channels, you know, get other opinions, get other perspectives. That's why I open up the phone lines here, because, you know, I think one way and people think another way. So if you guys have a different perspective that's not being talked about, when we open these phone lines, let's have a conversation. Who knows? I mean, even if it's far-fetched, it might get somebody else's gears turning. Maybe the conversation even might get the person calling in's gears turning and may come up with something. You know, it's all about just trying to think outside the box of where this boy could be. He needs to come home. I feel like something grave happened to him. I feel like he's not here with us. And as horrible and hurtful as that is, that helps direct me in where to search for him. If I think he's up, moving, and about, then he could be anywhere. But I don't truly believe that, because the parents aren't providing the behaviors to lead me to believe that. The behaviors they are exhibiting is telling me something horrible happened to this child. I'm sorry. And that scares the shit out of me. And at the end of the day, excuse my language, and at the end of the day, I really just want to find him. Just, you know, if he's up and he's healthy, okay, great. But if he's not, somebody needs to pay for that. Somebody needs to be held accountable for why we can't see this boy. And again, we have proof he went into that house, and we've never seen him leave. We only had to take two people's word for it that I have problems with right now, that have absolutely lied to the public and absolutely lied and continue to lie to this true crime community. Have a great day, guys. God bless, and we will see you soon. Rock it out with your coffee beans out.
From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work. We will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. And more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you. God bless America. And more importantly, God bless our victims.